Well, I'm just going to begin by asking, I sort of love how the Pyramid uses ancient kind of traditionalism to kind of as a means of driving the narrative forward. It kind of reminiscent of maybe like the Mummy or Indiana Jones in that regard.
Yeah.
I was wondering if that was something that sort of attracted you to the project initially.
Initially, what attracted me was that it was a horror, and that I love horror films and I love being scared. I've got this really sort of weird pleasure I get from sort of being made jump. And then also I really liked the character because I felt like it was almost as if the character was sort of the audience in that, at the beginning when everyone's like, oh God, well, we better go down this pyramid. And my character's like, no, what do you mean? Don't go in there. Like, that's not going to be good. That's going to be bad news for everyone. And so I really like that sort of... it was almost like metaphysical. It was like my character was sort of like sitting in the audience going, don't go in there. Don't go behind that door. Which was great. And also, they said that I could improvise and ad-lib a lot, and so I made the character a bit more sort of sarcastic and my shtick that I bring to it.
Yeah. I mean, as someone who is a big fan of the horror genre, do you find now when you go back and watch horror movies, has it changed, having now started one, has it changed your perception of them at all? Now you know how it all works from the inside?
No, not at all. No, I honestly, I'm scared of my own shadow. Like, I'll make myself jump. I love horror. I really just, like, horror films are like no other. They really do. There are dramas that can make you sad. There are comedies that can make you laugh. But horror films, there's this real extreme emotion that you get from watching a horror film. It's very different to every genre, and I really love being affected like that. And I wish I could say that because I've been in a horror film and I've seen the sort of the man behind the curtain, that I've got a bit of an insight and I'm a bit more braver. But no, not at all. No, I'm still scared out of my wits whenever I'm watching a horror.
And is that the case with the Pyramid? When you watch this film back, are you able to get caught up in the suspense and horror of it all? Is that a bit difficult, seeing as you're so, well, it was one of the main parts in the movie?
Well, no. What was nice about watching it when I watched it for the first time was that it'd been a while. It was a while ago that I worked on it, so I'd sort of almost forgotten most of it, and I you never know what it's going to look like once it's edited. You're never going to know what's really going to happen. It will say in the script, there is a loud bang here, but you don't remember that. You don't remember that there's a loud bang about to happen or whatever. So when those things do happen, I was still jumping out of my seat. So I got to, watch it as if as if it was completely fresh to me.
Is that the same for comedy? Are you able to laugh at your own jokes that you might tell in a comedy that you star in as well?
No, it's completely different, really, for comedy, in that a joke is really only its funniest once, which is why, even when for the last Inbetweeners film, like, we were sort of fretting over the trailer a little bit, because we were like, well, we want people to know that it's funny to get them to come and watch it, but we don't want to put any of the jokes in. So it became a sort of compromise where it's like, you put a couple of jokes in it, but don't put any of the good ones in. And then it was sort of like, oh, does it look funny enough? Is that going to get people to... So it's a bit different with comedy. And also I don't like watching myself. And I spend a lot of time behind the camera in this, so that suited me as well. I could just enjoy the film a lot more, because obviously, if I'm watching myself, I become obsessed with whatever I'm doing and how terrible I am at my job, and I convince myself that I'm just the worst and I shouldn't be in this industry. And that's basically all the emotions I get if I ever watch myself in something. Yeah. So this was a nice change of pace.
That's why I'm quite pleased this is a one-camera interview as
well.
Yeah. I was wondering as well, do you get more pleasure then from watching or sort of seeing an audience sort of laughing hysterically over something that you're starring, or squirming in their seats and kind of shrieking? What gives you that kind of greater sense of joy?
It's exactly the same, I think. Yeah, I think if you can affect someone, then you know what an amazing sort of power that is to have. Almost, I think that's why you become an actor, to provoke these sort of emotions in people, and you know, and I'm both sides of the coin really, because not only do I, you know, am I lucky enough that I get to make films and get to do that to people, but I also love films and I love going to the cinema. Like, I think it's, you know, I think the cinema is so important still, and I think that's the best place you can go and see films. And I treat the cinema like an occasion. Like, I still get excited to go to the cinema, and which I worry that is possibly been lost a little bit nowadays. But all those things, it's just a really, you know, you don't need me to tell you, it's just a really great job if you can get into it. Yeah,
and you mentioned that your sort of character spends a lot of time behind the sort of the camera,
yeah.
And obviously we see a lot of the footage in the film that he's sort of supposed to have shot.
Yeah.
Were you ever sort of entrusted with the camera, or?
Absolutely not. No. What sometimes, you know, with these type of films, that, you know, the found footage sort of subgenre of horror can sometimes be sort of code for like low budget, but we had, you know, really great equipment and a proper camera, and you know, a camera that if I went anywhere near would probably, you know, void any kind of insurance that was taken out on it. So a lot of the time I was just following our cameraman around and trying to stay close to him and reading my lines and trying to get the reactions off of the other actors involved.
Okay. I was just going to say, well, ancient Egypt is probably my favourite period of time in history.
Amazing.
And the place I'm sort of most intrigued by when I was at school and stuff. I was just wondering, as for yourself, if there was one place or time you could ever go back to, what would you choose?
It's probably quite boring, but, you know, possibly the 60s. There's a lot of, you know, the music of the time I really liked. But I think if I was around in the 60s, I would have been like, oh, the Beatles, what is all this? Oh, God, this is just, they'll come and go. You know, it's just pop music. You know, stick a bit of Elvis on, come on.
Win the World Cup. We'll win it again in 4 years' time.
Yeah, yeah.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Cheers,
Much appreciated. Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey You